Hello, everyone. Before we jump into the table, I just want to make sure everyone's hearing me okay, volume's working. So if you could let me know in the comments. I'm really excited to do this stream. I wanted to show something. We already got some comments from someone saying they couldn't wait to see the solo playthrough because, a lot of people do play games exclusively solo. And while this is a very big game, it's probably the biggest game we've ever done. We've certainly spent a lot of time on it. We've been working on it for over 5 years. We wanted to make sure that this game could serve so many purposes and be as inclusive as possible. So we've really done a lot to refine and polish things like solo. So we'll hop in, and I left some setup, and I even printed out a little cheat sheet of some of the rules for myself so I get everything right. But I wanted to just say thanks everyone for watching. One of the great things about StarDriven Gateway is that it can serve so many purposes. It can be played 1 to 4 players. It has competitive and cooperative scenarios. And just so you know, as we're hopping into this solo playthrough, when I say solo, I'm primarily talking about our sort of Automa ship that's acting as a player, if you will, that's acting as another ship on the board. So it's primarily used for competitive scenarios where you're playing solo and you want to play a competitive episode, and you have an Automa ship that'll be moving around, taking missions away from you, scoring points that you can compete against. But you could also add this Automa ship to a 2-player game. So you have sort of 2 players in an Automa ship. And you could also add this Automa ship to cooperative as well if you wanted to break up your turns and have either to add, it probably would add difficulty, I think, because the Automa ship isn't quite as smart as some other stuff. But that's certainly something you're welcome to do as well. It's meant to be very flexible. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to sort of my overview camera. I'll go up in the corner. And I took the liberty of setting most of the things up. So we're going to do our best to learn as we're playing. Again, if you have any questions, please throw them in the comments section. I'll try to bring them up and answer them as we go. But when I'm over on the table, I can't quite see the computer and comment screen as well. So give me some time. I'll definitely take the end to catch any comments that I missed. But I'm really excited to show this to you. I took the liberty of setting most things up, but I wanted to walk you through how solo setup differs in particular. So I've chosen the privateer faction to be my player, and I've set up most of the board. I've set my starting shields and power and things like that. When you're playing StarDriven, you do have the chance to pick your ship upgrades if you're an experienced player. You can look through these. We've got a stowaway pod, smuggler's hold, pirate radio, emergency jump. I love emergency jump, so I'm definitely going to play with that in. And then I'll try pirate radio as well. So this is sort of the last setups. Again, this is normal setup for a normal game. You always start by rolling your dice here. And then we have spots on our board to put all of our dice, all of our unspent dice in these cutout spots. So I'm finishing player setup, and then I would choose the first. In a solo game, the player is always first, so you'll choose a place to place your outpost and to launch from. So I'll just launch from Freyastra here, the ice world, because it's close to my table here for me. And the last thing you do is you would draw 5 cards from your crew quarters to be your starting hand. So these cards are upside down. And then from your crew, you'll choose to play to assign to 2 different stations and take it from there. So I'm going to assign Alex Weaver to command. In general, you want to match these skill symbols when possible. So command is the second skill symbol, which he has. So he makes a good sort of commander captain. And then the other spot I'm going to I'll actually do, and then I'll put dust down here in sensors. So the player is completely set up now. That's sort of the final setup for the player. And I'm going to walk you through the Automa setup and sort of how it's different. First things first, I wanted to show you guys here that I decided to play, the Automa is going to be the synth faction, which just I thought made sense because they're robots. So we have sort of a prototype of the solo board. And what we're going to do is we're going to print the solo board on, you can see this is part of a player board, but we wanted to give as much utility to this as possible. So we've made the back of it a solo board. And I wanted to just show you set up here. You're going to want to give the solo player their outposts. We're sort of using stand-in domes. If you watch our campaign, we've got our own miniatures for those outposts when the game comes in. We take the factions crew cards here. We've got the synth faction, and they have their own crew quarter spot on the board, which goes right here. And then right now we'll set hull to 4. And this cube would usually be used to track energy, but you don't need to do that when you're playing solo. You only need to track the energy for your own ship. The solo ship doesn't need to worry about that, which is great. And then you'll take these and you'll set the opponent's starting weapons and shields. That's sort of their engineering section. And just to go over sort of how the solo board works, all of these spots here represent the 6 stations on your ship that will accumulate and take damage and potentially do hull damage, which is recorded down here. There is combat in this game, but it is not, confrontation is not the primary focus of StarDriven Gateway. One of the end conditions, if a ship blows up, that does signify the end of the game, but that almost never happens in all of our hundreds of playtests. Take a sip of water here. So, and you'll see as we get to playing that confrontation and combat is primarily with the Raider faction, the Warbound faction, and direct player interaction and conflict is very minimal, even against a solo opponent. Now, each faction has their own set of dice. So this is the full set of these synth dice. But when you're playing solo, you only need one of each color. So I'm going to take 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red die. They sort of generally represent intellect, reflexes, and command. And I'll put these dice here, and I'll roll them in a second. And then last but not least, I print and played, I didn't have this with the prototype we ordered, but I print and played the solo deck. And you're going to shuffle the Automa deck here. And this is the deck that operates the ship, this dummy ship. And I'll put that here. And then last but not least, we need to take the rightmost episode mission from the mission market. So it's Ruins of Hire here. And I'm going to put that here as their target mission. And this also is where the solo ship is going to launch from. So I'm going to set their outpost there. They're going to launch from there. So we've done all that. Then last but not least, for the Automa, and use for the player too, we have objective cards, secret objective cards. And the player needs to draw 2 to their hand, so I'll give 2 to me. And then the Automa gets 3 objective cards. And you can give them additional cards if you want to increase the difficulty. But because the Automa, these objective cards are secret, and we'll see how that scores for the Automa at the end of the game. If you want to make it more difficult, they're not making decisions based on their objectives, so they're going to be secret, and you'll flip them over at the end of the game, and it's sort of a surprise extra points that the Automa can get, and you can give them more if you want to increase the difficulty. So with that, we are now set up. For the game, I just need to deal out a new mission card to take the place of the one I took from the market. And I've decided to play episode 2. This is a scoring card, and I'll read this to you. It says, ancient ruins on each council world have awoken with the discovery of the gateway and are causing spatial phenomena. Gain access to these ruins to better understand this advanced technology. So I didn't want to do the first mission. It's a little boring. I wanted to do this mission because it has a little bit of a scoring wrinkle to it, where as we reveal more, you want to reveal tiles around the planets you control because it will increase the score that they're worth. So I just wanted to add to that wrinkle. We are playing, I did set up for a short game. So that is based on how much reputation you're putting out on the board. When I put out, in a short game, it's 9 reputation. When I put out 9 reputation, that's going to trigger the end of the game. There will be one other round with equal turns, but I put 9 on my board to see how much I have to finish it. Of course, you can continue to place more on after it. That just sort of signifies the end of the game. And after that, we will score everything up for each player. I'll probably talk through it and do my best to do the math in my head. But if you're in the chat and you can help me out with that part, that'd be great. But I think with that, we're ready to go. So instead of going through all the rules in the game, I'm going to do my best to walk you through to learn as we're playing. Obviously, our goal is to get the most points, as seen on this scoring card. And in general, we're going to want to put reputation out on the board. If we have the most reputation on one of the council worlds that are showing on the map, I know I couldn't quite fit the whole map in the shot, but I thought it was really important to see the player boards, especially the solo board, to show off the solo playthrough. So for each reputation we put out, we're going to get a point. And then obviously if we have the most reputation on certain planets, we'll get points. In this mode, anomalies are also worth a lot of points. Anomalies will be placed on these exploration ships, so they're worthwhile confronting. Hull breaches are negative points. And then, of course, every crew member we recruit from the freelancer market, which is here, or crew member we promote on our board is also worth points. But we'll go through more of that as the game goes on. I'm ready to start. So to go over, I have my reference card here. I don't need it, but to go over what you do on your turn, every turn you have 2 actions. And your 2 actions are to assign a crew from your hand of cards, play a card down to a station. That's an action you can take. That's one of your actions. And the other action you can do is you can spend a die to activate a station. You have to have a crew member there. So if I wanted to use navigation, I wouldn't be able to do it right now because I don't have a crew member there. But you can spend your dice to activate a station where there is a crew member to activate that station. And each station does a little bit different of a thing, but a different action, if you will. But we'll go through that as we play. It's my first turn. I'm in space here. I'm floating over this ice world, this ice council world, but I have no idea what's around me. So at the start of my turn, I'm going to spend this 4 die on this first spot of sensors to, that's going to cost me 1 power. You'll see that there's 1 lightning bolt, 2 lightning bolt, 3 lightning bolt. That's how much power each station activation takes. And I will do the sensors action, which allows me to randomly pick any of the tiles adjacent to me and flip them over. And when I meet or exceed my number with the gravity number, that's when I have to stop scanning. So I'm going to scan here first. And I got a 4. So that meter exceeds my gravity number. So I can't flip over any more tiles. But I did find a toxic biome that I could potentially do a mission at. And I do get to peek at this chip and potentially collect it or put it back. Now, in a competitive game against human players, you would collect this or place it down secretly. You'd peek at it. But in a cooperative game, since I'm the only human playing, I like to reveal it to know what's there. that is a Raider Warbound ambush waiting for me there. So, you know, I don't really feel the need to go and fly in there necessarily. Now, you'll notice here at the bottom of sensors, there's sort of a follow action here, which is that after doing a sensors action, you may play one of your objective cards and it activates them so you can score them at the end of the game. So I have two objectives right now. It's do transport missions and gain the most anomaly tokens. Neither is particularly better for me at this time, but because this is the scenario where anomalies are especially worthwhile, I'm going to play the anomaly one, just hoping that I will get the most anomalies, and I'll play that there. My first action's complete. For my second action, well, before I do my second action, I'm going to do some of my free actions. And one of the free actions you can do is you can tap exhaust a crew member to get their ability. And I'm going to exhaust this guy to gain 2 power. Move my power back up. And then I think for my second action, I'm going to want to helm in the future. I'm going to want to move. So I'm going to play scare it to helm as my second action, assign him to helm. That's the end of my first turn. That's a player turn in StarDriven Gateway. So I'm going to move over to the Automa's turn. And the first thing you do at the start of the Automa's turn is you roll their 3 dice. It doesn't matter which spot you put these in, but depending on the card we flip over, it will trigger off of a particular color. Then we flip over the Automa's top card from their deck into their discard, and then we follow this card. Bring it up a little bit. You'll see that it has, you know, step 1, 2, and 3. It signifies sort of the standard actions of what a player ship can do, but obviously the Automa isn't going to be activating and taking all these free actions, activating ship upgrades and doing things like that. So I'm going to follow through and read through each action, and we'll do what the Automa says. One of the things I didn't note in the start of the game is sort of the way the Automa ship is designed. All of its scoring goes off to the right of the board. So all of its completed missions will move from its target mission to the completed mission pile. All of its crew that it promotes will flip over from its crew quarters over here to its promoted side. Its objectives are here. So all these things off to the right side of the board for the Automa player aren't things you actively have to work with or manage as you're playing the Automa ship. It's all for the endgame scoring only, and to sort of keep track of what the ship's doing. The only things you really need to focus on are these dice and the card that you're flipping over. So let's walk through this. So the first thing the Automa ship is going to do is they're going to command. They're going to move red dice, the command dice, 3 spaces towards the closest ship and attack it. If a Warbound is attacked, they're going to gain an experience point. And if a Warbound is destroyed or damaged, they're going to gain the corresponding reward if possible. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away from that ship, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces away from me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from that little ship as well. So they're actually going to go after the big Warbound gunboat. And they're going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. They do not quite get there. The Automa ship acts and works exactly the same as a Warbound ship, and they only attack when they enter your sector, which is, one of these spaces. Each of these tiles is divided into 3 spaces. So it didn't reach and it didn't attack. It will flip over and collect this experience point chip here, which I can put here in its little storage spot because it entered the sector, just like a player, if they flew into a sector, would reveal any exploration tokens and collect them and activate them. So does an Automa ship. And then next, it's going to jump to a system with the Automa's target mission. and complete that mission. Now, we can't do this, so I actually made a mistake. So I didn't talk about the target mission that we assigned to the Automa ship. So this is the mission that the Automa ship is trying to complete. Now, because this outpost is here blocking missions on this particular Scorch world, and it's the start of the game, and we don't see any other Scorch worlds, the Automa can't do this target mission right now. So if the Automa action ever references their target mission, you must check to see if it has a valid target mission. It doesn't right now because it's blocked. So if that ever happens, you deal a new target mission from the mission deck on top of the Automa's mission spot until it has something it can do. So now we have a biome, this verdant biome, where the Automa can go to that ship. So now we can complete this action, which is jump to a system with that biome. Liberagon Prime is up. We can jump there and complete the mission. So we're going to do this mission now. You can see at the bottom here, it rewards 2 reputation points on the bottom. So I'm going to put that in the completed missions file. I'm going to give the Automa 2 reputation here. And just like when a player completes a mission, we also need to mark that spot with a outpost. Outposts block missions there, so you can't just sit there and farm missions at the same planet. And then finally, we're going to do this rest action on the Automa's card, which is take the rightmost mission in the mission market as the target mission and gain another XP. So it has 2 XP. XP is used to sorry, that's a long reach. XP is used to promote people or recruit new freelancers to your deck. So it has some points to do that action when it can, but it's not doing that. We've done all 3 actions on this card, so the Automa's turn is now completed. Now we're going to move over to the Warbound phase of a round. So a round in StarDriven is broken up into 2 phases. First, every player takes their turn. Then the Warbound activates, and each player activates the Warbound. So they activate for as many times as players have, as many players as there are in the game. So the Warbound deck is up here. I'm going to flip this over, and the first thing I do is look at this number, which is 3, and see if any of the Warbound activate. They are currently on 4 and 5. So they are not going to activate from that. So I'm going to read this card, and this is my poll. I'm the player. I went first. This is my poll. Choose an interceptor to jump to the council world shown. Remove player outpost there. If a 1 was revealed, a 1 isn't revealed. So there's only 1 interceptor to choose from, and it's going to jump to the sand world on top of this card, which is slightly off camera, but just trust me, they're up there. And then we'll do the Warbound pull for the Automa. They are not on a 1. They are currently on a 3 and a 5. So we'll read this card, which is spawn an interceptor at the gunboat's location, and then activate the gunboat. And when you activate the gunboat, it moves towards the closest outpost and removes it. It moves 3 spaces at a time. So it's going to move towards the Automa's. Let's see, it could move 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, or 1. I think it was, I'll make them go here. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're equal. So when they're equal, I'll let typically the player whose card it would decide. So I'm going to choose for the Automa, and I'm going to make the Automa be a little smarter. And the gunboat is going to head towards this outpost. I don't want to slam the Automa with combat right away. Although this is a good point to point out in the rules that if there is ever a tie, like that tie where they were equal spaces away, and the Automa needs to make a decision that is sort of arbitrary, the player may choose for the automa, and then you as the player may decide to sabotage the automa ship as much as possible between the choices, or you can optimize for the automa as if you were playing as that ship. It's your decision. So as the player in that arbitrary case, I got to decide for the automa, and I decided to sort of make the automa be smarter and play slightly harder, because I think that'll be more fun. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. So that is the Warbound phase. They're done moving around. Sometimes they'll shoot and attack us. It's now back to my turn. And I get to take my actions. And I'm going to start by using the Helm action. I'm going to spend a 5 and 1 power here. And Helm is sort of your roll and move action. So I get to move equal to the number, up to the number of spaces. I spent a die value of 5. So I'm going to move, and I'm going to start by moving here. I'm going to go 1. I'm going to go here. 2. I'm going to keep going. 3. And I'll go here. I looked out. I'm going to go 4, 5. Now I collected these chips. I got 2 experience points, and I also collected this objective draw token. And the way objective draw works is you draw equal to the number of players you have, and then the person who activates it gets to pick first. I'm going to take this toxic missions, and you pass the cards. I'll give that to the automa as an additional objective they can score. So I did get XP, which is what I wanted. So I could potentially score some points or some missions. I did not come across an anomaly, which I was hoping to find. I could scan again and look for that anomaly. I'm going to scan. That'll cost me 2 power. I'm going to play this Toxic Missions as my card, and then I'm really only going to get to reveal 1 tile. It is a 2, but I did sort of find a mission I can complete now. And I'm going to choose, you can activate as many tokens as you have outposts out, so I have 1. So I'm going to choose to collect this anomaly, and we're going to face an anomaly here. All right, so I encountered an exotic life form, and I have to take 3 damage. For each damage that is blocked by your shields, lose 2 power. So this exotic life form has latched onto my ship's hull and is leeching power. So we get to see combat. So 3 crosshairs or damage means I'm going to roll 3 dice as damage. So right now I've got damage coming into the 1st station, 2nd station, and 5th station. So I'm going to place these here just so you can sort of see how combat works. And then lucky for me, the privateers start with 5 shields. So I'm going to take 5 combat dice, and I'm going to roll my shields. And what I want to do is I want to match my shields to that incoming damage. So I rolled a 4, 4, 6, 2, 3. So a complete miss by my shields. Now, we do have dice rolling in this game. There is some chance and excitement here. But the good news is you only decrease your shields when you actually block damage. So because my shields completely whiffed, I charged up the front of my shield and missed completely. Instead, what we're going to do is all this damage gets through my shields, and I'm going to put a damage token starting at the top of each station where the damage hits. And if a station completely fills with damage, that's when I take that hull damage. and that's when I get negative points for a damaged hull. So the exotic life form, I didn't lose any power though, so I didn't block anything with charging my shields up. Now, I have the opportunity to research this anomaly and collect both the chip and the card. You'll notice that every card has a bonus at the bottom. This bonus pays 0 power for all station activations this turn, which is quite good, but I need to discard somebody with the command symbol on them. So I am going to do that. I'm going to discard Alex Weaver. And whenever anything's discarded, they go back to crew quarters to take a rest. They can always be drawn back up. And that will allow me to keep the exotic life form card and place it in my research database down here on my ship. And as a free action, I can use this effect at any point on a future turn. We have a question here. I'm going to put it up on the screen. In combat, does the matching 2 not mean a shield block? Or what would a successful shield roll have been? You are correct. I did roll a 2. Thank you for correcting me. I'm so used to rolling terrible on shields. The 2 was a match. So we did block damage here, and our shields would have gone down by 1 and set to 4. And then we would have lost 2 power from the effect on the exotic life form from that. So, Parn, thank you for keeping me honest there. I just, in the rush of explaining things, I just globbed that 2 as a 3. That's how I saw that particular die. So, thank you for correcting me. If you match the die value exactly, that is how it blocks. So I spent 1 shield and blocked 1 damage. The other 2 got through. So thank you for correcting me. Keep those comments coming so I don't miss anything else. At least I explained it correctly. I just did it wrong as opposed to explaining it wrong. So those are my 2 actions. I just got 5 points for this anomaly token, which is fantastic. And I have XP at the end of my turn. So at the end of my turn, to end my turn, I can recruit or promote. So I'm going to spend an XP. You only spend, I guess the important thing to know is I can't spend all of my XP. At the end of my turn, I can only spend 1 XP per turn to end my turn to recruit or promote. And I am going to recruit Madison here because they are awesome. They have a lot of skills. And as the privateers, all of our factions are asymmetrical. And the privateers have really good, a higher than average crew value, but lack skills. They only typically have about 1 skill per card. So by getting Madison here, they're filled with 4 skills on the left. So I'll be able to more easily, hopefully, complete missions in a future turn. And obviously, I've scored some points by recruiting a new character to my ship as well. So that's going to end my turn. And then we'll do the Automist turn, which will be a lot faster than my own turn. Hopefully, I'll have less to chat about as we move forward here. So the first action the Automist is going to do is they're going to take a helm action, and they're going to move the green value dice value towards the closest sector with their target mission. Their target mission is now an ice mission. They cannot finish this mission, but they can finish this mission right here. So that's really bad for me. So they're going to move 1 space, and they're going to complete yet another mission. This mission is for 2 rep as well. Of course it is. So they're going to get 2 rep on the closest council world. They are 2 spaces away from here and only 1 space away from this planet. So more rep is going to go on Liberagon Prime. They are doing a very good job controlling that particular council world. We would attack any ships in our sector as it entered and moved along the way, but it didn't move very far, so we don't need to worry about that. Next up, it's doing an engineering action. It's going to repair 2, the green dice, damage. Has no damage to repair, so then it's going to charge its shields. So it can charge up to 5. And then if it had full shields, it would charge up weapons. And then last but not least, it's going to do a recruit action. It's going to spend an XP, if it has one, which it does, to acquire the top freelancer from the deck. And it doesn't really matter, but we will add it. We'll add it to the top. Add it to the top of crew quarters. And that is the Automous turn. So now we're going to do the polls for the Warbound. We have a 1. They are on 2 and 3. So we're going to do a jam action, which is discard missions from the market that matches the revealed biome. It is an asteroid. So the revealed biome on top of here is an asteroid. So it's going to remove this asteroid mission from the game. And then if a mission is discarded this way, we spawn an interceptor where the gunboat is. And that's my action. And then we'll do the Automa's action. They're doing a raid. First, we check if a 4 activates. It does not. We are now at 2, 3, and 5. And choose an interceptor to jump to the Council World shown, which is ice. Remove player outpost there. So the Automa will choose a ship. Say it chooses this one. Jumps here, and it's going to remove my outpost. And we need to fill this spot in. And that is the Warbound. So I really need to step it up here and complete a mission or something. There are a lot of toxic missions. So let's see what I can do here. My first action, I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 movement. I'm going to tap this crew member because I can plus or minus 2 to any unspent green die. And I'm going to make this 3 a 5. That's a free action. Then as my first action, I'm going to spend 2 power, which means I'm at 0 power. But I'm going to move 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to try to do this Ruins of Air mission. If not, I can try the easier one, which is explore the biome up there. So let's talk about how we complete a mission. The Automa sort of has automatically been completing missions. So I need to discard crew from my hand or my ship equal to 4 crew value, and they need to have these 4 skills. Now, Madison has 4 crew value and most of the skills I need. She's only missing 2 of them. But unfortunately, those 2 are not in my hand. So that one's sort of tough for me to do. I think this may be easier to explore the biome because Madison could do that by themselves. Or I could spend I'm actually going to keep Madison because they're so good. And I'm going to spend these 2 crew members from my hand, Verona and Fayette, on the Explore Biome mission here. And I'm going to complete it. So these 2 crew members, I can do it in any order I want. We'll go to the bottom of crew quarters. I complete the mission and get the reward, which is Ready a Synth Crew. So I'll untap Dust 0. And I get 1 reputation on Vexus. And I get to put my outpost on Vexus. And completing a mission is a free action. So we have finished. There's a free action, and I moved. I am really low on power. So the way you get power back is by jumping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign Madison, which is the last crew member I have in my hand, to navigation as my last action. And then at the end of my turn, I can recruit or promote, and I'm going to spend my last XP that I have remaining to promote. And I can promote anyone who has a matching skill at the station they are currently at. So I could promote Scarrett. I'm going to promote Madison. Because now Madison has, when you promote a crew, you know they're going to get better. Their crew value will go up. They'll gain more skills. Sometimes their ability changes, but in some way they'll get better. And Madison, when promoted, now has all 6 skills, which is something I desperately need as the privateer with my low skill workforce. So I think that's the end of my turn. I could take some free actions, but I don't really have anything good to do. So I'm just going to end my turn and we'll move on to the solo turn. This system seems great for solo with 2 different decks impacting non-player actions. Yes, so thank you so much. We spent a long time building this system. Again, we've been working on this game like for 5 years. You can see in the comments section on our Game Found page, we've even been playtesting it with the public for over 2 years. Someone put a comment in there saying, you know, they can finally buy the game now after playtesting at Gen Con 2022. So it's something we've really been refining and polishing. We wanted to make sure we had a comprehensive solo game, comprehensive and interesting competitive scenarios, and great cooperative challenges. So I'm glad that you think it's interesting. That's really good to hear. I should note that while we do have 2 different decks, the Warbound, if you are playing competitive or against them in the cooperative mode against them, you will always have their deck out and be monitoring it. So that deck is sort of always in play, even in a competitive game. But then in solo, you add this Automa ship. And again, you can add this Automa ship to a 2-player game, a 3-player game even. It's just another piece that people need to do. And it's not necessary, but it may be fun for some people to experiment with by adding the solo ship to their 2 or 3-player games. It would work perfectly fine in the same way. It's meant to mimic a player. So we're going to do the Automa turn here. We got some bad rolls, so hopefully they use some of these low rolls I gave to them. So it's going to do a helm action, which is move 1 towards the closest. It's going to move towards its target mission via helm. Its closest mission, I think, is here, so it's going to move 1 space that way. It doesn't attack or move into anything. Next up, it's going to reveal adjacent system tiles and collect all the XP and anomaly tokens. So it could reveal up to 2. There's only 1 tile that hasn't been revealed next to it, so it's going to collect. That's a ambush token, so it's not going to collect it. So it whiffed on that pretty great as well. So I'm very happy. And then if it has XP, it has 1 XP left. It will acquire the top freelancer from the deck. So it's going to acquire Dyer here. Oops, I took 2. And add them to their crew. So they haven't promoted anybody yet, but they have acquired some freelancers there. And that's the end of the Automa's turn. So we're going to go over to the Warbound 5. No one's on a 5. We have 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do a suicide run. This is my pole. So the closest interceptor towards me and moves towards me and attacks 1, 2, 3 with double damage. So typically these interceptors would do 2 damage, but now they're doing 4. So I have 4 shields, and it's going to be against 4 damage. So I'll roll their attack out here, and hopefully I do a better job matching up these blocks. So here's my blocks. I have 4, 5, 5, 6. So I block a 4 and a 5. And both 2s get through. So I block 2. My shields will go down 2. I'm going to be looking at engineering action soon. And then these 2 get through as damage. 2 shots to station 2. which is bad for me because that means one more hit and I take a hull damage, which means I lose 5 points. But as is typical in most of these streams, I typically lose. So we're staying right on track. So that was my poll. We'll do the Automa's poll. We have a 5. We will now activate here. Now, you can never have more than 2 ships in a sector, and you can't be attacked. The Automa attacks as it enters a sector. So it will ignore me for this activation, and the interceptor will fly 4 spaces towards the next closest target, which will be the Automa, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4. It can't quite get there. But hopefully he goes and beats up him a little bit. Back to my turn. I have no cards in my hand and almost no power. One of the other actions, the third action you can take on your turn, besides assign a crew to a station and activate a station, is to rest. That's how I'm going to recover and reroll my dice. But ideally, I want to spend the dice I can without wasting an action to reroll dice. But things are getting dicey here, as they say. I need to draw cards. So I'm going to spend a 4 on this spot here. You'll notice that this spot purposely does not have an energy icon on the player board because you always want to be able to, there's always an outlet to draw more cards. This follow action is to untap. So we will untap 3/4 and we will draw 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. So I have more cards in my hand now to do missions, which is good. But then I have to jump. And when you use navigation, you need to spend a blue dice typically, but this is how you gain power. And it can accept this black spot, this last spot accepts a die of any color. So the first 2 spots on each of these stations you'll notice are like green, spend red dice here, but the last spot always takes the most power or takes any die value. So I'm going to spend a 4, and I can jump to any system tile with a 4 on it. So I'm going to jump to Freastra down here with a 4. I'm gonna jump into the sector with this interceptor because then they'll be less likely to attack me, and that'll gain me 4 power back. Now, there are some ice worlds. There is an ice mission up here, Ruins of Water, but the Warbound act as an outpost and block things just like an outpost would. So I would need to remove that enemy before I did a Freastra mission, which I will try to do next turn. Nothing else I have. Hold on a second. I will tap Scare It to assign a human or Ursine crew to a station, because that'll let me play a crew for free. And I'm going to play Alex Weaver to command, because that will allow me to attack in a future turn. And every time I activate command, you'll see that you get an experience point. So that's a good one to activate. All right, let's move on to the solo player. Roll their dice. I think that's a 4. It was a little bit on the edge, but I'm going to count it as a 4. Okay, so they're going to do a scan action and reveal 3 adjacent system tiles, but they're actually in a zone that's completely revealed. So haha, they sort of whiff. Whiffs are perfectly okay for the Automa ship. It's built to whiff a little bit because in general it takes 3 actions to your 2 every turn. So it's okay that it's a little dumb. Then it's going to take a helm action towards the closest sector with its mission. It's going to move 4 spaces, so it's going to easily finish this mission. 1, 2. It's going to finish its Ruins of Fire mission, getting it 2 XP. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to decide for it. It's arbitrary, and I'm going to make it harder on myself, and it's going to put its missions there. Now, they have all of their mission blockers out, or outposts out, so we would move one of the outposts of its choice to block the current spot it's on. So it's going to go here. And we do need to draw a new target mission for it. I mean, we could wait, but it needs one. And then lucky for us, it's going to whiff again because it doesn't have XP to promote. So it's going to whiff on its promotion. That is the end of the, I'm going to group, how much rep? They have out 5 rep, right? No, 4, 6. So they only have 3 left. So I'm just going to make a little thing where if they get this 3 rep out, that's going to, they can signify the end of the game too. They're just going through their rep much faster. So I'm going to have to make up for it in other ways here. Okay. And we're going to be able to make some decent moves on our next turn. But first we need to activate the Warbound. We have a 6. They are currently on a 6 right here. So he's going to fly and shoot up the... All right, so he's going to do 2 damage. Here's his 2 shots on the synth. And we'll roll to block for the synth. We'll probably roll really well. There's a 6 we blocked, but the 2 gets through. So its shields go down 1. And it took a damage at station 2, which we'll put there. These are the station numbers, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't need as much space. We wanted to eliminate the size, the real estate that a solo board takes up. We didn't want you to have to manage an entire player board when you're playing solo. So we did half of a board. And the way we got a lot of space back is that you don't need the space for the people at the stations. But we do need to track the damage at those stations. So he will take some damage there from... And then we have a 3, and they're on a 2-4-2. They're on 2-4-2. So ambush is going to happen. The gunboat jumps to your ship's sector and attacks. It can't do that because my sector's full. Both sectors are full. So normally the gunboat would jump in and shoot you, but they can't do that, so it whiffs. So we're back to my turn, and all that power I gained up, I'm going to spend. But it's gonna be well spent here. I'm gonna spend 3 power to command. That gets me an XP, and it lets me attack. So this 1 effectively becomes a 1 damage going towards the Warbound up here. So if I wanted this reward on this Warbound card, 1 to 2 gets me a rep. So that is exactly where I want it. And so I'm just going to spend my 1 to do 1 damage. It's going to kill this interceptor ship. And you can actually use the interceptor ship, and it'll be returned to the card where it is. And I will get 1 reputation on the closest council world, which is right here. Now, I've cleared out all the Warbound here, which hopefully means I can finish up this Ruins of Water mission. And with promoted crew, you do not have to discard them. They can be used twice on missions. The first time you use them, you can tap them to use their skills and value towards this mission. So my promoted crews will be able to finish this mission by themselves. Ruins of Water. The reward is to assign a crew to command. I already have someone there. I don't want to change it. But I am going to score this card, which is going to get me 2 more rep on Freyastra, the Ice Council world, which means I now have world control. I'm winning by 1 rep against the AI. I do have almost no power left. I have no dice left now. So unfortunately, as my second action, I'm going to need to rest. Now, here's the good thing about resting now. When you rest, all of your promoted crew on your ship automatically ready again. So I use them to do a mission. This is the engine building of the game. As you promote your crew and hire new crew and deck build your crew, they'll get better, and promoted crew have advantages. So I just used them to complete a mission, and now during my rest action, I got to untap them for free. One of the things I do need to worry about, though, once I get power back, is I do need someone in engineering to repair some of this damage, so I don't take a whole damage. But we're going to keep pushing our luck for now. That is the end of my turn. At the end of my turn, I do have an XP, which I'll spend. Man, I wish I could spend. I'm going to draw. I like this guy, I think. A crew to crew of 4 or less. I'm going to grab this guy. And that's my turn. If there's any other questions in the chat, I think we're in a good flow now. We're just sort of playing the game. So if you have anything, let me know. I'm here. I'm going to try to, we shouldn't be playing that much longer. The stream should come in just around 2 hours, which is sort of my intention. With explanations set up, all the stopping and talking, the game plays at about 60, about 90 minutes, 30 minutes a player. Depends on how fast you're moving when you're playing solo. So we'll take the solo turn here. 1, 2, 4. All right. Navigation. Jump to a system with the target biome. It wants to jump here. Okay, so it's going to have to go. It's not going to complete the mission, because the only place it could jump is here to try to complete the mission. When it jumps, it activates this trap I left for it. And yeah, it's got 4 shields against 2 attack. Looks like the 2 is blocked. And 1 damage gets through to the top station. And now it can't complete its mission because that biome is not available. It'll move spaces closest towards the closest ship. So it's going to do that. So it's going to attack this ship because that's the closest ship. And it's got 1 plus this in attack, so we'll roll for it. It's going to do a 3 and 4 damage, which will destroy it. And it says, if a Warbound is attacked, gain an XP. And then recruit. At the end of its turn, it got that XP, so it can recruit for some more points. And recruit Gilda from the top of the deck. I moved myself when I should have moved this person. And that's it for them. So now we're going to do the Warbound real quick. 6. Where are they on? They're on a 2. They're just on 2. Oh, there's got to be another one somewhere. Okay, they're all on 2. Suicide run. This is my poll. This guy's going to come and do 4 damage to me. We're going to do the other one. I'll pause that damage for a second because I want to flip. 4. He'll activate. He's going to do a suicide run attack on me. And then he'll move and fly here. Suicide run used to destroy the ship, but now we changed the name of it and it doesn't blow up anymore. So you can't get attacked multiple times. I only have 2 shields and 4 attack coming in. So here's its attack. 4, 4, 5, 5. I gotta roll a 5. I'm taking a whole damage. Oh, I missed. There's my roll. See, 3-6, completely whiffed. So we're going to take 4-4, 5-5. I'll show you here. That is a complete station. So you clear the damage, and you take a hull damage. So I just lost 5 points. But I didn't waste any shields. And then the Automa has 3 shields and is going to take a normal attack at 2. They rolled 1-6-2, and the attack is 3-4. So at least I rolled equally bad for the Automa. They're going to take damage at stations 3 and 4. Okay. I need to repair. Oh, you know what? I'm going to rewind. See, this is one of those things, because I was streaming, I wasn't playing as well. Instead of taking the damage I took, I'm going to use my reaction emergency jump. And I can roll a combat die and jump away. Can jump to any 4 spot, which is only here, which isn't much better. So I'll get attacked, but still a better attack. And I'll gain that power 4. So I am going to rewind and do that so I don't take that -5 damage. 5 points. Okay. My turn. I have to activate this chip, and I'm going to get attacked again. 1-6. My block is 4-6. Hey. So I'm going to take 1 damage at 1. And my 6 blocks, my shields are down to 1. How many transport missions have I done? None. As my first action, I'm going to do the command action, which is going to cost me 3 power. Nah, maybe I need the power. No, I want the XP. It's going to cost me 3 power. And since I spend a 3 and I'm commanding, I can untap the 3rd spot. And it gets me an XP. And then I'm going to tap this guy to assign an Earth sign or human crew here. It's a free action. And then as I'm going to take an engineering action, since we haven't seen it, I get to talk about some new rules. At a 4, I can spend this 4 at engineering to repair damage 1 for 1 or pick up my shields and dice. So I'm going to do 1. Actually, I'll leave that one. I'll do 1, 2, 3 repair. And then I'll pip up my shields to 2. And then the follow action is I get to recharge the ship upgrade. So I'm going to recharge my emergency jump. And that's my turn. I could attack this guy if I had more actions, but I don't. I need to use my anomaly soon for its free energy activation. I shouldn't forget about that. So let's see what the purple AI does. First, to roll for them. 4, 3, 1. Move 4 towards closest ship and attack it. It's already there. For warbound's attacked. It'll attack for 2. 2, 5. It'll take him out. For warbound's attacked, get an XP. And take the corresponding reward if possible. And the reward was an XP. Draw a new target mission. Then it's going to do diplomacy. Place 1 rep on the nearest council world. It's here. It's going to tie me. And gain another XP. So there's a ton of XP. And only 2 rep to go. Now we'll pull for warbound. 2 activates finally. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's going to attack there. I'm not on a 2. Three shields. 2 attack. 2, 4. 4 is blocked. Shields go down 1. 2 damage. That's station 2. And then we need to reshuffle. Four activates. It can't go anywhere. So whiffs. All right, my turn. My first action's going to be to jump to here. Then I'm going to do fair elections. As a free action, I'm going to complete this mission. And I gain 6 power from that jump. And I can tap her for all 5 skills in 5, and then I need 1 left. I'll discard Fate from my hand. When I complete this mission, I get 2 rep, which will put me in the lead there again. And then I may move up to 3 rep, up to 3 of your rep from any one council world to other council worlds of your choosing. I'll move 1 rep from here to here. Because that'll let me score Ordo back there. That was a free action. I'm going to tap Dust to make this a 2. Then spend a 2 on navigation, gain 2 power, and jump here. And I'm going to do Volcanic Survey. Which I can definitely do. By discarding these 2 guys from my hand. I have the two skills I need, the satellite and the engineering on the bottom. And that gets me one more rep here. So we'll control the most worlds, hopefully, help us out. Just made a comeback. And I need to get this down. Or I need to do more toxic missions to work on my objectives. Okay. Solo player. Roll the dice. 3, 3, 1. Reveal up to 3 adjacent system tiles. It's going to reveal both of these. And it collects any XP. Oh, I forgot at the end of my turn. I'm going to spend my XP to promote Alex Weaver. Collects any XP. Doesn't have any. Jump to the council world where the Automa has the least amount of rep and place 1 on it. So that's going to be either of these places. It'll go where I'm at. Let's say it goes here, places 1. Ties me. Then it's going to spend 1 rep to promote the top crew of the Automa's deck and discard them. So it promotes Gilda. That's his turn. I think we're going to have 2 more turns. 2 activates. 2 is right here. It's going to activate and destroy this. My next turn is a 6. It is on 4, 4, 2. So it's going to raid. So I choose an interceptor. I'm going to choose this one to raid here. And it removes this outpost. Now it's my turn. I have no cards other than this last objective that I want to get down. So I do sort of want to scan. I'll scan for 1 power out of 4. Because it'll let me flip this over. 3. Now that hasn't meet or exceeded my number yet, so I can flip over another one. 4. So now that meets or exceeds 4. And I can take both of these potentially because I've got 2. I have all 3 outposts out, so I could take 3 things. I'll take both of these. This is going to be bad. Anomalies are always bad. We've got the Sentinel probe. Peculiar machine was detected broadcasting the same signature as the gateway. On approach, the probe powered up and threatened our ship. Lose 4 weapon charges. I can only lose 1. For each weapon charge you cannot lose, take 1 damage. So he's going to take 3 damage on me against my 2 shields. 1, 1, 2 to my 2, 4. So I take 1, 1. I block the 2. And I'm going to take a damage here and here. This die will just go to my spent. Still spent. Goes there. And then I need to discard somebody with this symbol. The only person I have with that symbol is my really good player. Still going to do it. Because I'm going to instantly use this free action, because I researched it, to promote a synth. I'm going to promote Dust. I get to play this down as my follow action. I also have the most anomalies, which helps me for my final thing. So I think we're doing good on that. Okay, I have one more action left, and I have only 2 dice left. I can't jump anywhere. I need to draw cards. I'm going to spend the 6 here to draw 6 cards. It's all of them. That is my turn. All right, let's see what the AI's got. Let's roll bad for the AI. Choose bad. Choose bad. Choose bad. Take the rightmost mission in the mission market as target mission. It's going to take this and gain an XP. Oh, at the end of my turn, I should have spent my XP. I'll recruit a guy. Recruit this guy. Move 2 spots towards the biome with the target mission. 1, 2. Or would he go 1, 2? He's not there. He's not going to complete the mission anyway. I think he'd go this way. Arbitrary, I'll decide. And then at the end of their turn, they'll spend an XP to promote. Sorry, I hit the camera there for a second. Okay. Do the bad guys. I thought for sure they were going to end. 5. They are on 2, 4, 6. So ambush, this is my pull. He's going to come in here and blast me, of course. Do that in a second. Let's do the next one. 5 again misses. So we'll have ram and board. 1, 2, 3, 4. Attacked by that one. Doing that token, I'll just get a random one. Okay, so I get blasted by 4. I only have 1 shield. 6. Nope. 1. 4, 4. 5. This is a hit. That's a hull damage. I just got rocked. It's okay. I deserve it. I haven't been repairing. And the AI is going to take 2 against 2. 4, 6. They're all equally bad for them. 2, 6. So it blocks the 6. And the 2 gets through. Oh, look at that. It's going to take in all damage too. All right. Let's end this. I'm going to spend a 3 and 1 power. I could have emergency jumped. I'm not going to rewind. That's my own fault. To go 1, 2, 3. and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this mission. Because I drew my guy who's really good at stuff. And I can do Ruins of Air for the last 2 rep on the closest world. And I have to move a mission blocker. And then my next action is going to be to rest. Oh, I should have emergency jumped. I do not have an XP, so I cannot do anything. Command. Move 3 towards the closest ship and attack it. It's already there. It has 2 attack. 3/5. 3 hits, almost whiffed. That gives it 3 power as a reward. It doesn't have power, but we'll get an XP for that. Repair 3. 1, 2, 3. Now it's going to jump to the council world where it has the least. It's going to jump all the way over here. And it's going to place 1 on it. If there's a tie, the player decides it has 2 worlds where it has no rep, so it's going to go there. And that's its turn. So I triggered the end of the game, so this is going to be the last Warbound activation. 6. 6 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4. Doesn't hit. This is the Automous pull. Closes interceptor, moves towards your ship. Aha. 2 versus only 1 shield. 5. 3, 5. 5 blocks. It's out of shields. 3 gets through. All right, last turn. So once you trigger the end of the game, everyone gets 1 more turn. So you sort of finish out the round, then there's 1 more final round. So this is my final turn. And I am going to want to do my best to get as many points as possible. I do have Madison here who I can tap at least once for a mission. I have a 3. Can't jump. I rested. I don't think that's worth it. I want to scan. Ice World. All right, my first action is going to be to scan for 5 and 3 power. I'm only revealing this really. but he'll let me play this. Not that power matters, but I'll discard that. So I meant to spend the 3 power. What's my best mission? I'll do Smuggling Ring. So I'll spend a 6 and 0 power because I use the guy to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll do Smuggling Ring by tapping here. That's 1 rep. But more importantly, the reward is Recruit a Crew, so it doesn't really matter, but that's worth more points. I have to move a mission blocker here. And that's my turn. Not as exciting as I thought. All right, Automa, let's see what you got. One, 2, 6. Helm, move 1 space towards a sector with the target mission. Well, I guess it moves here. That's the closest. We'll activate that. We would draw 2. We'll just randomly take 1. Let me get the other in our hand. They do not finish it. Then they're going to do a 6 and reveal 6 spots and collect a bunch of stuff. That was their best sensor action. They have all the XP in the world now. And they'll spend an XP to promote. And then there is not a activation at the end. So I'm going to put myself on screen here, big screen, so I can walk through the scoring. And if you guys can keep track of stuff, again, if you've got any questions from walking through everything, I'm going to do final scoring to see how I did against the Automa. And I'm going to open a little notepad to write down each category. So we're going to talk about this scoring card here. And the first thing we're going to look at is world control. And I'll always be first. So world control, I have Freastra, Pyrokin, and Vexus. So I have 3 total. So that's going to be 9. But then the special rewards are that each revealed system tile adjacent to a council world increases that world's control +1. So Pyrokins equal 1, 2, 3, 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all revealed. So that's 8 more points. And this one is 1, 2, 3. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got a lot more points from that. I got 8, 15, 23. And then that last one, no one controls Ordo up there, which you can't see on camera. But then they control Liberagon Prime, which is 1, 2, 3 points +3. It's equals 6. So 23 to 6 on the first category, not too shabby. Reputation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10. They have at least 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. So 10 to 9 there, pretty close. Anomalies. I have 10. They have 5. Promoted and freelancers. Promoted, they have 3. They have 15 points for their crew. They have 15. I have 3 promoted. And then I have 4 freelancers for 8 and 3 promoted for 9. That's 17, I think. I did that right. 3 promoted, 8 freelancers, 8 points for freelancers, 3 promoted is 9. Yeah, 17. So world control is the only thing I really am winning. Hull breach, we each had 1. So we're -5 each. And now bonus objectives. I had the most anomalies. So I'm going to get my 7. I score this one. Toxic missions. For each toxic mission, I get 3. And I did 2. So I get 6 for that. For each mission with the transport signal, I did focus on that. I have 3 of those. I get 2. So there's another 6. And then fair hiring practices. For each freelancer that I recruited of a different species, I get a point. So I got 4 points from that. So that is 10, 23 bonus. All right, let's see what the AI did. Ordo Loyalist. If they have 5 on Ordo, they missed that. Diplomacy missions. They have 0. Verdant missions, they get 3. They definitely have 3 for verdant missions. Spacer missions, they don't have any. Ice missions, they have 1. That's 3. 6. Rescue missions, they have 2 for 4. They have 10. I got them. I beat them, even with my taking a lot of damage. But the final score is, let me just see here, 66. What am I doing? Just do it on my calculator. So I scored 78. And the AI scored only 40. So that's how final scoring works. I beat it pretty handedly. I was nervous there at the start, but I think that does it for this stream. If there's any other questions, let me just check here. You're on the wrong camera. We can't see the game. You didn't need to see the game. I was just counting everything up. So, I was going through this thing, counting up stuff, and typing it into my computer. So I can put the game back on if you want to see how I sort of left the table. But the AI did really well here, 15. But they had a lot of extra XP here, so they didn't capitalize on their recruitment. I definitely made up some stuff there. And the fact that they took 5 damage was a big swing point as well. And then me tilting the cards for the worlds that were worth more helped me a lot. And I knew anomalies were worth a bunch in this one. So it had a couple of those scans where it didn't get anything. So it's the nature of it. If there's any other questions, thanks for watching this solo playthrough. I hope you see how important solo is to us. Obviously, this is still a prototype, so there are a few things we're going to tweak. I know I saw a couple things, nothing major at this point. No rules are going to change, but as far as balance goes and just tweaking and making things as shiny and great as possible. But I think that'll do it for our stream today. It was a longer one. This will be up for anybody who came in late and wants to watch the whole thing. It'll be on demand on our YouTube channel. As always, if you're interested in StarDriven Gateway, today we announced that it'll be coming to GameFound on October 1st. And you're going to want to back it because you get a bunch of free episodes, some extra content. There'll be a free expansion pack for everyone who backs the game anytime during the crowdfunding campaign. And there'll also be some deluxe components, which are sort of exclusive and won't be in retail. So thanks again for watching. I hope the solo mode made sense to everybody and everyone followed the rules. I did my best explaining everything. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, if you see anything else, feel free to leave comments and we'll get back to you with any questions you may have later. Thanks again, and hopefully we'll see you in a month when you can back the game. Bye for now.